Learfield presentation of the Oregon Sports Network.
And Oregon is going to play in the national championship game.
Big Ten champions. Big Ten champs.
National champions, yes.
Oklahoma City bound the Oregon Ducks.
Awesome day to be a Duck, man.
Boom inside. Touchdown Oregon. He gets loose. Fires. Hit. Pops the three. Oh, yeah. It's all Oregon.
This is Duck Insider. Duck Insider.
It's about how to be a group of people that know how to love each other to the absolute fullest.
Pleasure, joy to be with them each and every day. And I can't wait for the future.
It's just fun to be a part of a community that cares, that is passionate, and when we come together, powerful things can happen.
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Now let's go live to the Country Financial Studio to talk Oregon Duck athletics.
A busy Wednesday. We begin today with some schedule changes. Oregon baseball, due to weather conditions, we anticipate cold temperatures in the evening the next couple days. The Ducks are changing the game times for the first two games of the Youngstown State Series on Thursday and Friday. First pitch at PK Park will be thrown at 2:05 p.m. on Thursday, 2:05 p.m. on Friday, sliding up an hour from the originally scheduled 3:05 start. That means a 1:45 pregame show for us across the Oregon Sports Network on Thursday and Friday. As a result, no Duck Insider. We're not going to be able to have a Duck Insider when we're all at PK Park doing a broadcast. Therefore, Oregon baseball will be your Duck Insider broadcast coming your way on Thursday and Friday. Saturday and Sunday against Youngstown State at PK Park are still scheduled for noon. So Thursday, 2 o'clock, Friday, 2 o'clock, Saturday, noon, Sunday, noon. No Duck Insider Thursday and Friday. Oregon baseball sliding things up a little bit against Youngstown State. Ryan Milano and myself, 1:45 pregame show tomorrow for the Ducks against Youngstown State. Meanwhile, Oregon basketball, tough one last night. I think you got to flush it. I really do. I think you just say, you know what? A guy like Kai Simpkins not going to go 0 for 10 from the floor in every game. You flush it, you get ready for a matchup against USC. Ducks felt like they could have won that game against USC. They lost 82-77 against the Trojans earlier this year in the month of December. Different looking teams on both sides. Two of the most hurt teams actually in the country in Oregon and USC. We'll break all that down. Also, Kelly Graves getting ready for some Oregon women's basketball. Let's go! Ducks are, I think, in a good place, but certainly you want to win every game. We all know that. We'll break that down. We're going to hear from Oregon baseball head coach Mark Wazikowski. Scott Phillips is editing his media conversation just from about an hour ago if you're live with us in the 1 o'clock hour. And Jess Drummond, Oregon Lacrosse head coach, is going to join us after her team's 3-0 start. She's going to be here in the Country Financial Studio coming shortly. Track and field with some all-conference honors. And Oregon softball getting ready to hit the road. They're playing at 10 a.m. tomorrow. We'll break that down for you. Full schedule, GoDucks.com as men's golf continues as well. Oregon acrobatics tumbling with the home opener. Tennis also this weekend. Let's talk to Kelly Graves. Chris Clayton sat down with him as part of our Toyota Coaches Show. The Oregon women's basketball team is hosting Nebraska tomorrow at 6 o'clock. It's a 5:30 pregame show with Chris Clayton. It's Be Oregon night at Matthew Knight Arena. 6 o'clock on Thursday. Kelly Graves with Chris Clayton breaking things down for women's basketball.
Just a couple weeks left in the regular season. Ducks head coach Kelly Graves joining us in studio. Here we go. I like the cheering
That's
section.
the definition of smattering. That's the word of the day, kids.
Well, thanks for coming in. Let's talk about the Washington game on Sunday. It was an odd game, I think would be one way to describe it. Neither team could hit a shot very well. A defensive battle from your eyes after watching film. How would you sum it up?
We played well enough defensively to have won the game. No question about it. We were on point. They got off to that great start. And, we didn't panic and, just kind of stuck to our principles. And then controlled really a lot of the game. And then just, offensively, we were so bad in that second half. Execution, untimely turnovers, poor spacing, some decision-making just went wrong. That being said, you watched the game. We had some pretty good looks. We executed some sets to get, the right kids the right shots, and we just didn't make them. Sophia, Mia, Katie, Ahis, four of our three leading scorers,
right,
plus Soph, 6 for 39 from the field. You're not going to beat, anybody doing that, let alone a good team on the road.
defensively did, as you described in postgame, more than enough to win. I mean, Savia Sellers had a nice start with 11 points, and then Sophia Bell and as a team, just great job defending her.
Well, we've said this before, I think, on here. Sophia is the best defender in the conference, in my opinion. She won't get the Defender of the Year because she doesn't have high steal numbers or high block shot numbers or high defensive rebounds. But in terms of just focusing on one player and doing one thing and, taking that player out of the game, nobody better. She's got great focus, good length, great awareness. She's got really everything that you need to be an elite defender.
And I wanted to ask you about your rebounding as a team. The Huskies are a terrific rebounding team. They're in the top 4 in the conference in rebound margin, and the rebound total ended up even. So just with this game and this season, you've talked a lot about rebounding. How have you seen the rebounding develop this year?
Yeah, I think we're getting better. It's just something that we're focusing on. They're not suddenly better rebounders per se. We're just, I think, more consistent going to the boards. Yeah, first half up there at Washington, we had 0 offensive rebounds at halftime, but we had 10 in the second half, so we did a much better job there. And then limited them. I think it was just flip. They didn't really have – they had a bunch in the first half and not much in the second. So we're getting better at it. And, and come NCAA tournament time, rebounding is always one of the big keys.
And you mentioned kind of a slow start in that game. What did you think of the bench? Estera Tuhina came in, hit a couple big shots. Sarah Rambis, another game in double digits. It seems like they kind of stabilized things early in the game.
They did. Yeah, the starters obviously weren't ready to play, and Washington did a good job. So yeah, we subbed in that whole next unit, and what they did was they stabilized us at the end of the first quarter. And the start of the second quarter, but then we went back to the starters after we'd gotten stabilized, and then they kind of took off. We played a great second quarter, but then the last 4 possessions of the half, 3 turnovers and a missed layup. We had a chance to really go in having the game under control, and we didn't. And the second half was just kind of back and forth affair most of the time.
Talking with Ducks head coach Kelly Graves, I wanted to ask you about Sarah Rambis. Back-to-back games where she scored in double figures. There are players that if they, quote-unquote, lose their starting spot and they go to the bench, you never know how they're going to respond. But it seems like she's come back and she's been very aggressive and playing confident.
Yeah, she certainly has as of late. I thought there for a while she was struggling a little bit to kind of, get her confidence, get her rhythm. And we really need her because she's so different. You got Heath down low who's just a power player. She's given up a ton of size, and that sometimes affects her. I thought Washington, they had strength and length, and she wasn't as effective. So those are the games where Sarah becomes a lot more important. She obviously is pretty good at scoring in the rim, but what she can also do is face the basket. So you kind of have a two-headed look there. We played them, and actually we played double bigs quite a bit in this game and had some effectiveness, but then we turned it over too much, trying to get it inside.
And now you think about 2 weeks left in the regular season. That's it. In your experience as you've seen teams ascend and peak in March, what is important for this year's team to be their most dangerous come the Big Ten and NCAA tournament?
Well, we typically play well, our best basketball at the end of the season. We have since I've been here. 4 games. I'm thinking we've got to at least get a couple if they're the right 2, and probably 3 overall to really secure our spot in the field. So we have some work to do. This game against Nebraska, they're a good team. They space the floor, and they've got really good guard play, and then their inside players are really developing. Then we hit the Indiana schools on the road and then finish at home against Washington. That Washington game's going to end up being really, really important. It's either a game to get us into the field or it's a game to get us a better seed. So, we've got we've got some time here, and we need to get through of these 4, I think.
Yeah, and you mentioned you have another crack at Washington, but just thinking about off the court, it was kind of cool to have such a strong Ducks cheering section there. I mean, you had players' families. You think about Trey Simmons, assistant coaches from Seattle, Katie Fiso's from Seattle, and you had ties and people in the state of Washington. It was pretty cool to have some old family and friends there.
Yeah, we had some families there. Yeah, Katie's family showed up in force. I had a bunch of my old Zag players there, as well as one Duck, Kat Cooper, and she's got a little one now, and heck of a little shooter too.
There you go.
I was watching him, but yeah, it's always neat to this is kind of what we do it for as coaches. We want to develop those strong relationships that that last a lifetime, and it's great to see them. There are Seattle Zags, and it's great to see them every year. They come out and you get a chance to reconnect and see their kids have grown a little bit more, and yeah, it's pretty neat.
Thursday, 6 p.m., taking on Nebraska. You talked about them already a bit, but what stands out about them that makes them good?
Well, Britt Prince is one of the elite guards. Don't we have some great sophomore players in this conference?
Yes.
We've got 2 of them, but Britt Prince is fantastic at the point. And then they literally play 5 out, sometimes 4 out. Their posts can all run the floor. Their guards can all make plays off the dribble. They're coming in here 5-9. 2 weeks ago they were ranked.
Yeah.
And it's just that's how things can change in this conference. So I'm expecting a really good team. They're still borderline quad 1, and this would be a great feather in our tournament resume cap.
And you think about your resume, you're still in a great spot. And Nebraska is too, with their losing streak, they're top 25 in the net rankings. So,
yeah.
The net, you never know with the net rankings. I mean, a few years ago, obviously it didn't go in your favor with the number 19 net ranking, but it's got to feel good. Despite these couple losses in a row, you still have a great resume.
Oh, no doubt. Yeah, we've got, a borderline quad 1, 2 definite quad 1 wins on the road. And that year we didn't have any. That was the difference. And then we had a double overtime loss to the number 5 or 6 team in the country. And so they look at that whole resume. This is certainly a team that should be in the field. But just to make that sure, we need to play well down the stretch in these last 4 games.
As you look to the schedule here, still 2 games at home, so a couple opportunities left for fans to come out to Matthew Knight Arena, and the fans can make a big difference in these close games.
Well, they sure can, and we've certainly given them some tight, interesting basketball games. Dramatic games, yeah. We've lost huge leads, and we've come back from big deficits, so it's just one of those teams, the cardiac kids we call them. I think you coined that phrase, and just every game you just, it's got to be difficult, frustrating to watch sometimes for our fans, but I think it's also they've got to enjoy the competition and some close games. So yeah, we need them. We got 2 more games. This is it. It's your last chance to see Mina Muhammad, Mia Jacobs, Stara Tahina, and we need you to come on out.
Yeah, coming down the home stretch for the seniors. So should be fun. Nebraska Thursday at 6. Good luck, Coach. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me today, you guys.
Kelly Graves brought to you by Toyota. Sitting down with Chris Clayton here on Duck Insider. We're going to get a timeout, come back, and here in the Country Financial Studio, Jess Drummond joins us on Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Back after this.
Dear Winter, Toyota's got 25 vehicles with available all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive, and that's more than any other auto brand. So you bring the action, and we'll bring the traction. Toyota, let's go places. Based on manufacturer's websites as of 10/20/25.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by one of your local branches today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Dear Winter, Toyota's got 25 vehicles with available all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive, and that's more than any other auto brand. So you bring the action, and we'll bring the traction. Toyota, let's go places. Based on manufacturer's websites as of 10/20/25.
More Duck Insider coming up on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
When your car is making a strange noise, no matter what it is, you can't just pretend it's not happening.
That's an interesting sound.
It's like your mental health. If you're struggling and feeling overwhelmed, it's important to do something about it. It can be as simple as talking to someone or just taking a deep, calming breath to ground yourself. Because once you start to address the problem, you can go so much further. The Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council have resources available for you at loveyourmindtoday.org.
There's danger out there. It lurks on highways and quiet neighborhood streets. It's more likely to kill you than a shark and more terrifying than the biggest snake. Distracted driving claims lives every day. Every notification, swipe, social post, video, or selfie while driving risks your life. So while you might think public speaking or the zombie apocalypse is scary, what's really terrifying and even deadly is distracted driving. Eyes forward. Don't drive distracted. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
OnPoint Community Credit Union. We're in the Country Financial Studio. So is Jess Drummond, Oregon Lacrosse head coach. Coach, you're 3-0. How's that sound?
Fantastic.
Yeah?
Woo.
It's what you always plan for, right? You want to win every time you take the field, but it's easier said than done, right?
Mm-hmm.
You got to be pretty proud of your team right now.
Very proud. And, getting 2 games within 3 days, that's hard to do, and they
Sure.
did it. So, very proud.
So break it down for us. What'd you take away from the weekend? A couple of victories.
Yeah, super awesome Saturday to be able to get everybody into the game. I think that takes a lot of just that first half, that group being able to take care of business, get things done on their end, and then the second half group did the same thing. So super proud of everybody from, everyone on the bench getting in and just everyone who contributed to that game.
Fairleigh Dickinson was a 16-5 win. I know this might sound a little obvious, but how critical is it to have the depth on display? For all the reasons. One, you mentioned 2 games in 3 days, but also development for your team.
Exactly. I always think it's such a great opportunity to get in and play an opponent and to prove what you've been learning and get that experience. And it's pretty rare, I think, in season sometimes to be able to get your entire bench in to play somebody and get that college level experience, especially for a bunch of freshmen.
And then you played San Diego State, the host of the multi-team event on Monday, a 12-10 win. What'd you take away from that victory?
Just the grit and battle. The weather was insane, and we didn't let that alter us too much. And again, like playing a game with 1 day in between is kind of crazy, and I'm really proud of them for doing that and not letting that affect their mentality of how they tackled that game.
Can you elaborate on insane weather?
Sideways rain. I feel like the palm trees were about to hit us at any point. My hood was refilling with water probably every 15 minutes, and I would just go to write something down and just poured all over me. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to start emptying my hood. Yeah.
How do you write things down in that
You
weather?
don't. I was like, what am I even trying to do right now?
Huh.
Try to draw something on a whiteboard where nothing's sticking? Yeah.
Obviously, though, Ducks love rain, won 12-10, right,
yes.
to move to 3-0. So I just want to take this opportunity to say, for any recruit that's thinking San Diego is the place.
Well,
have you ever had to dump water out of your hood here?
Never. Yes, I know. And they were saying, hey, aren't you guys used to this? I'm like, no, we're not used to this. This is not normal Oregon weather.
Everyone knows in the Willamette Valley, too, it's much more mild than anywhere else you're going to get.
Yes.
You go to the Sure, you go to the mountain ranges. Yeah, I get it. Coast's a little different. All right. Depth on display. We've talked about the depth of this team. Can you give us a little deeper insight on that? How deep do you think this team is, Coach?
Yeah, great. I think it's amazing, and on Monday, we saw, just a lot of depth get in there. And, Lily came in, and I think she had her first goal against FDU and then had that confidence going into San Diego. So I was so proud of her, and the team got so excited. And, we had Gabby, unfortunately, get 2 yellow cards out, and it's next person up. So we keep talking about you never know when your shot is. And to be able to go in the game, it's freezing. And to get those amount of goals and, those assists, I was just super proud.
That's cool. Jess Drummond talking Oregon Lacrosse. A couple individuals. Anna Simmons, again, honored by the Big Ten Conference.
Yeah.
Safe to say that Anna Simmons is beginning an all-conference kind of season.
Yep.
Okay. Good chat.
Wait, what?
How's she doing it? What makes her special right now in her career?
I know. I could talk about her forever. She's just so. When we think of Anna, we always say grit. She practiced how she plays, and I think I talked about this on the last show of she plays to her standard. It doesn't matter who her opponent is, who's going onto that field. It's Anna Simmons' level, and can she push herself that game, and how far can she push that standard?
Another impressive performance. Emma Ing scores half your goals against San Diego State.
Yeah.
What makes Emma special?
Just calm, cool. That's her experience. She is just a threat all over. She played inside most of this game where she usually had been that X feeder. And the team just found her constantly. She's good at finding those slips, good at finding, getting open between the gaps, and just getting those feeds from her teammates and being able to finish on those shots was really awesome to see for her.
Departing from the games for a minute.
Okay.
So I texted Coach and I said, hey, congrats on the 3-0 win, 3-0 record, I should say, after some wins. And you shared something that I think that you need to tell the crowd today, because Well, you're developing an audience for this.
A following?
I would say yes.
Oh my gosh. Am I being an influencer?
But we had yes. But we experienced what I'm now going to call a scrunchy SOS.
Yeah. Yeah, we did. I forgot my scrunchie. I know. I had it on the counter. I always have them in all my pockets, so I couldn't even believe I didn't have a scrunchie. Couldn't believe it. But you know who saved the day? Our girl Anna Simmons.
Let's go, Anna.
Let's go, Anna.
Let's go, Anna.
Yep. She had 3, the one that her and I traded, and then a green one that I wore for the weekend. So thank goodness.
So are you a superstitious person?
No, not really.
Okay.
But I feel like that happened because we talked about the scrunchie on the show that week.
Wait,
and I was like, this is Joey Mac's fault for bringing light to my scrunchie game.
Whoa. Whoa. Anyone around Oregon lacrosse knows about you and your scrunchies.
Yes, it's in.
It's in right now.
Yes,
See?
and now I have a scrunchie in like my backpack, my suitcase, any bag that I'm going to be traveling with.
But maybe we're on to something here. Anna's scrunchie, it worked out on this road trip.
Yeah.
So do you do it again?
No. I am not superstitious. I'm not going to lean on that to be, oh my gosh.
I'm just asking a question.
Are you superstitious? Do you want me to wear Anna's?
I think that I'm the true definition of like superstition is rooted in routine. Like to me, I don't like to be thrown off my routine. And I often think about it in terms of athletics. Like, you know, okay, can you overcome that? Like that's some adversity to overcome. But I certainly, like everybody, we don't like to have things go wrong right before something's supposed to happen.
Yeah,
right?
that's a big thing to go wrong on my weekend. Like me personally, not having my
But you held it together.
Yes.
And maybe with the weather, you didn't even need one because you were just drenched anyway.
Yeah, it was soaked.
Okay, but apparently we've determined though, like people were talking.
Yeah,
people are talking about the scrunchie.
Yes, they were talking about it to me post game, and I was like, you know what, this one's not even mine. I have something to confess.
We're gonna do something around the scrunchie. Can I ask, like, how many of your student athletes utilize a scrunchie? Can you guesstimate?
I don't know, maybe half. Like I think people wear different types of scrunchie. Like mine's like my big puffy.
Right. It's iconic.
Yeah.
There's got to be a group photo here.
Okay. Whoever has a scrunchie, put it on.
Thanks.
Okay, we can do this.
Back to lacrosse. If I told you though, Coach, that you'd be sitting 3-0, I imagine before the season started, you'd say yes, like absolutely.
Yeah.
What have been the factors that have actually come to fruition, and maybe what are some things that you've had to overcome in order to be 3-0 at this point in the season?
Yeah, I think I would really peg this back to our first game in Arizona State. Like, I think that really built this confidence. Like, I saw it in the team. I know what we're capable of. But for them to feel that and have that huge comeback win, like, really instilled of, like, we are a great team. We are meant to be here. We can keep beating these hard teams. So I think that was really awesome to see. And I still believe in them. And they're so fired up. Like, they're talking already of, like, beating Cal, getting that done. And so I'm excited that that's where our mentality is.
You talk about proper mentality. How about the tactics of it, too? Like, we talked a little bit a few weeks ago about, like, the scouting process, how your team's enjoying that, it seems like. How big of a deal is that, just the tactics and execution of your team?
Yeah, it's great. You know, we did our practice on Sunday prepping for San Diego, and we had gone through a couple plays, and the team was like, oh, we've done this already. I'm like, yes, we have. We did look ahead, you guys, and prep you. And so it's really, you know, they believe in us. They trust us. They know our game plan. And so it's just so funny to see them be like, have that clicking aha moment of like, oh, the coaches are prepping us 3 days ago for this to get ready for it.
How far out have you scouted your opponents at this point?
Well, last week, like going into a huge game stretch, like we've got 4 games in less than a week. And so we started watching Cal last week, prepping us for, you know, FDU, San Diego. You know, I'm somebody that I try not to focus too much on that, but I look ahead just to be like, can we incorporate this? Are there similar tendencies that these teams are doing? And so we've been able to do that for Cal kind of in this last 4 or 5 day stretch.
So you got to maximize your prep time.
Yes, we got 1 day to play today.
Right.
To prep for tomorrow. So we've been looking ahead for sure.
I mean, it makes sense to have, like, your team is your team, right? But
yeah.
It changes a little bit with each opponent,
yes,
I imagine,
for sure.
Right?
Yeah.
All right. Cal, what do we know about them?
They're going to be a good matchup. Our team is itching to beat Cal. We're definitely on that win, and it's nice to host them again this year. We were there last year, and I think it's been 2 very big battles year to year of really trying to itch that win, and it's been a very close battle. I think it's been like 1 goal game each time. So we're very excited to host them and take care of business tomorrow.
Noon start on Thursday at Pat Bay Field. Big plus, KWVA's got the broadcast. Midday lacrosse. You like playing in the middle of the day?
Yeah. I mean, we practice in the middle of the day. It's perfect.
Is that
routine, superstitious.
That's part of why you did it?
Yeah, for sure.
See?
For sure. Yes.
Take that long lunch. We'll see you at Pat Bay Field.
Yes.
Then you just take the happy hour meeting at PK Park.
Yeah.
Because Oregon baseball plays it too.
There we go.
You got the whole compound.
Just stay on over here.
It's ready.
Yeah.
Keys to the game.
We talked about it too, that grit and effort. It's going to be a battle. We've tapped into a lot of energy these last 4 days of playing games. And so we've got to find that gritty mentality to just take care of business and get things done tomorrow.
Sunday also at Pat Bay Field, Eastern Michigan in town. So Thursday noon, Sunday at noon. I won't ask you to look ahead because we've already talked about how you got a lot of
lock in for Cal. Yes.
Noon against Cal. Coach!
See everyone there.
Thanks for being here.
Thanks.
Appreciate it. Here's to defending Pat Bay, huh?
Yes. Let's go.
Timeout. When we come back, I mentioned baseball. Schedule change, moving up to 2 o'clock. Break it down with Coach Wazakowski next on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by one of your local branches today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
When life blindsides you with an injury, you need a team that's tough. For over 30 years, Morgan & Morgan has been fighting for the people. This season, we're proud to partner with Oregon Athletics. Because whether it's on the field or in the courtroom, we're both determined to do what it takes to win. Morgan & Morgan, proud partner of Oregon Athletics. Injured? Dial pound law. Morgan & Morgan, 10150 Southwest 6th Avenue, Portland. Prior results do not guarantee a similar outcome.
Don't go anywhere. Duck Insider continues after these messages on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
We asked parents who adopted teens to share their journey.
If you build a relationship, then it becomes easier. If you build trust, it becomes easier. As a parent, you want what's best for your child. To give them the love that a child needs is probably the best you can do for a teenager.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. Visit adoptuskids.org to learn more. A message brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
You say you'd never give in to a meltdown and never fill your feed with kid photos. You say you'd never put a pacifier in your mouth to clean it and never let them run wild through the grocery store. So when you say you'd never let them get into a car without you there, know it can happen. 1 in 4 hot car deaths happen when a kid gets into an unlocked car and can't get out. Never happens. Before you leave the car, always stop, look, lock. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Team Scrunchie continues. Teresa says that they've got a green one and a yellow one. Yeah. Look, it's the other accessory that someone like me can't even utilize. But gives you a whole nother accessory to match with the wardrobe. I mean, Jess Drummond has had these scrunchies forever. And I'm not kidding you when I say, like, people around Oregon Lacrosse like, oh, you got your scrunchie, Jess. Yep, of course you do. I think we got to do something with this. Oregon baseball adjusting the schedule. It's going to be 2 o'clock on Thursday, 2 o'clock on Friday, noon on both Saturday and Sunday for a 4-game set against Youngstown State. Things do adjust a little bit when you move up a day and play a 4-game series beginning on Thursday. Head coach Mark Wazakowski, brought to you by the William Valley Cancer Institute and Research Center, better cancer care close to home, breaking down the upcoming weekend following an undefeated start for Duck baseball. Here's Waz.
The series moving up a day, does that alter who starts and where, and just kind of your thoughts on the mound?
Yeah, we'll keep our rotation. Well, yes, to answer your question. Toby Twist will start Thursday. And then it's the same 3 starters that we have the other series. So, yes, it does.
I guess just what are the expectations going from Series 1 to Series 2 of improvements you want to see, and just kind of your expectations for this weekend?
Yeah, I want to see them continue to grow as a team. I want to see them get comfortable in their own skin, all across the board, but specifically offensively. We saw some guys in character. We saw some guys out of character, depending on the at-bats, and really want to just see them mature and continue to grow this weekend. Obviously, the objective is to win every time you play, and so we get a chance to play 4 games. Then I want to win them all. And I think the pitchers that are getting rolled out there, Toby didn't want to move Will Sanford or anybody up a day, not early. But so going Toby and then Sanford and then, Clark and Scolari. That'll have Ryan, who pitched really, really well last weekend as a starter, available for us in the bullpen. Nevertheless, I just want to see him mature, and I want to see him win 4 games.
We saw plenty of debuts out of the bullpen over the weekend. How do you expect to continue to figure out those roles this weekend?
Just watch, right? Those kids get opportunities based off of what they've done in scrimmages, and now it's just for us to watch and see how they handle game scenarios. And so they're really the ones that determine who's playing. We're just trying to pay attention. We don't have any contracts with anybody that says we got to play them or we got to pitch them somewhere. Bottom line is the guys that are playing and pitching best, those are the guys going to get leaned on heaviest. So the guys that, that show that's what you're looking for right there. And a healthy spirit of competition is what we're after. I think we've got a lot of really good options, and the competition's really been good. There's still a couple of guys that haven't taken the jacket off down in that bullpen that are really good. Same thing with position players, that are some talented players didn't get any at-bats last weekend.
Early in the season, how do you balance the building of confidence with also the high level of execution and standards?
Well, you just, for me, that's a good question. You try to take the focus off of, you got to do this and you got to do that. What you got to do is you got to go out there and play baseball like it's fun, because that's why you started doing it. Instead of making it more to it than it really is, just go out and have fun. Right? Go out and play baseball. Get dirty. Do the things that you always wanted to do. Get the attention off yourself and your stat line. Get it on to how you can help the ball club win. I think if you do that, you end up usually having a pretty good stat line. So, playing really well. So we try to just keep guys channeled and focused in that way, and we'll do that this week as well.
You mentioned there were some characteristic and uncharacteristic moments this past weekend. How did you like the way that maybe some of in those uncharacteristic moments that players were able to make adjustments, especially as you're playing the same team again, kind of 4 times throughout the weekend? How important maybe is that to make those adjustments?
Well, I think the biggest thing is the ability to have a bad at-bat and go out on defense and nail it. And so for guys that killed it last weekend, your Angel Ayas of the world that, got honors and awards that were well-earned. It's probably pretty easy to go out and play defense when everything that you see is a beach ball up there and you get a lot of hits. For the guy that didn't get as many hits as he wanted to go out there and play the type of defense that we played last weekend, that tells me that the kid's mentally tough and that he's got his brain in the right place. Instead of thinking about his at-bat or whatever he did or didn't do great, he's now shifted to the team, and the team is the biggest indicator of being a team guy is how you play defense, because it's the thing that, most guys don't learn at an early age, that defense is really, really important, and that is what wins championships, and that's the key, right? So if you can get those guys thinking that way, then that's the best team mentality you can have, in my opinion.
We heard good reviews on the energy in the dugout from multiple players over the weekend. How did you see that coming together in the first game action?
It was good. It was a lot of fun to be with those guys. They look like they enjoyed themselves in the dugout. We really encourage them, not to be frivolous and, throwing Skittles at each other or something stupid, but, being productive in the dugout, having a working dugout is what it's been referred to as somebody that I consider a really, really good coach. And he'd talk about having a working dugout and what that means, and having jobs for everybody, and then embracing, the time in between pitches, because, Ken Ravizza used to talk a lot about mental toughness and what it means during the game. And do you have the ability to really stay locked in for 3.5 hours, or do you take, that bursts on, bursts off mentally, right? And so the time in between pitches, you can take that 5 to 10 seconds and be out. but then zoom back in and get focused again for the next pitch and always on the next pitch. And, training guys to do that is something that we all have to be trained to do mentally because it's not natural. But then when you can do that and you can have your periods of time where you're out for 5 or 10 seconds, whatever the player needs to get refocused for that next pitch and be on it, that's really, at the end of the day, you ask them, hey, how many pitches did you miss? How many pitches were you still checked out on for whatever reason? You were thinking about who knows what. And you can do that when it's, if the weather's chilly, you're playing a doubleheader, it gets long. Just ask the casual fan, how many fans can literally stay locked in for every single pitch of a doubleheader? And it's 0. That's the grand total of fans that can do that. And that's not their job. That's the player's job. And specifically, it's really coach's job. But if you teach players to do that, then you got probably a great dugout. And last weekend we had a dugout that was a lot of fun to be around because they were into the game.
Maddox was someone who has had a big role ever since he was a freshman. I'm wondering if you've seen maybe him take a freshman like Angel, who found a lot of success this past weekend, maybe under their wing, and how kind of Maddox has also made that leadership switch now that he's a junior, and how much he's kind of grown since his freshman year, and how much he can kind of be an example for someone like Angel.
Maddox is a really good player. I mean, all these kids lead in different ways, right? Maddox, the way he leads is one way, and then a guy like Ryan Cooney is going to lead in a totally different way. And I mean, regardless whether it's Maddox, Ryan Cooney, Dom Hellman, Drew Smith, Burke Mabius, some of these returners, those guys all have tremendous leadership abilities. They all have an opportunity to be able to touch, whether it's Jax or Laya or any of these kids, they've got a great opportunity to be able to do that. And I've seen growth in Maddox through the years for sure. He's a really, really good player. It's the defense he's throwing out there, the way he throws the ball, the way he picks it, just his mentality. It's a very settling force. He's not an outwardly loud leader and a yeller and screamer or anything like that. That's just not who he is. He does things I guess when he's on the field, he's a lead by example guy. Just by the way he plays the game is enough. Where there's other guys that are really a little bit more leader when it comes to your typical in somebody's face, maybe in the dugout, or, really verbally encouraging them. That's not Maddox's way. Maddox is going to show you. He's going to be very calm, and really we don't ask him to do, or any of these guys to do anything that isn't in their personality. Just kind of be the person that you are. And that's a leader. If you're trying to act like somebody that you're not, that's probably not a leader. That's a little bit more of the fraud side. And we try to stay away from that with all of our guys. Max, tremendous leader. He just does it in his own way. He just plays really good. He's a good baseball player.
Back to teaching the young guys the defense and the importance of it. With Braden behind the plate, how have you seen him kind of embrace that and just the role he has with the experience on the mound you have, just kind of have the commanding voice as a catcher?
Braden Jackson is a talented player, right? But like the way he caught during the fall is totally different than the way he caught during the spring so far. And that's probably a tribute to himself, and he worked on the things that he needed to instead of hiding from him. He's always had the tools that are tremendous. Like you see those are pretty standout. The arm that he rolls out there and the bat that he has. I mean, it's pretty remarkable. But I mean, Jack Martyr and Tim Cisnera, those two guys are guys that work with catchers around here, and those guys are really, really good. They're advanced teachers, both caught professionally, both ducks, right? Guys that get it, and they know what it's like to play at this place. And so, I don't know, those guys' instruction, I think, has really helped Braden Jackson. I think Braden would say the same.
Youngstown State, a team coming in, they played Auburn, a top 10 team, played them tough the first 2 games of the series. Just what makes them so difficult? What challenge are they bringing into PK Park this weekend?
They're really physical, but their pitching was really good last weekend versus Auburn. They had a lefty and a righty that just shut them down flat out. One of them won the conference pitcher of the week. Then that kid will throw on Friday. And the next guy can really, really pitch, and he throws on Saturday. And they're good. They can pitch for anybody. It doesn't matter who. They can pitch for anybody on anybody's team in the country, whether they're ranked number 1 or not ranked. Doesn't matter. Those 2 arms are really, really good arms, and that's why Auburn didn't score off of them. Or scored 1 run or something like that. I mean, the left-hander had a tremendous stat line against Auburn. I mean, he's really good. He's going to throw 88 to 92 with a plus breaking ball. He's got a cutter that he features, and those 3 pitches are above average pitches on the metrics. The other arms that they have can really pitch. They've got a variety of guys on the bullpen that can cut it and run it, and you're going to see some good arms down there. 90 to 95 mile an hour arms that can really pitch, and so. I think that's what you saw last week when they went down to Auburn and they played them really, really tough. You referred to 2 games they played tough, and I think they're probably coming in here thinking they should be 2-1 instead of 0-3, to be honest with you. And I know that for a fact because the way that those games went, they probably should be 2-1 at this point in time. They've got tremendous pitching.
Braden Jackson and Angel Laya were both projected starters for you coming into the season. Have you seen them step up to those opportunities?
Yeah, I mean, shoot, they gave the awards to Angel, and I think Braden's stat line was even better than Angel in some ways. So, yes, they played very, very well. I can't imagine playing that well as a freshman in your first collegiate games, right? And they both did it, and so good for them. A lot better than I did in my first freshman weekend, that's for sure. I think I was 0 for my first 3 weekends in college, but they're very talented players. You saw a little bit of that last weekend, and for a young player, the key is to kind of minimize the ebbs and flows of it, just be consistent, and so hopefully they can be consistent and keep playing well.
Someday I'll ask Waz to unpack those offers for his first 3 weekends when he was a collegiate player. When we come back, let's talk a little softball. Ducks are on the road beginning tomorrow. Keep it here on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, we're more than just an award-winning golf course and practice facility. Our events team offers all-inclusive event pricing that allows us to take care of all the details while you enjoy your event. Our indoor and outdoor venues offer you a wide variety of fully staffed options that put the focus on you. From weddings to business and social events, at Shadow Hills Country Club Events Center, you get the benefits of a resort atmosphere and amenities in a peaceful country setting, just minutes from downtown Eugene. Call for a tour today or visit shadowhillsevents.com.
Hey Duck fans, at Country Financial, they make insurance easy. Whether you're shopping for home, auto, or more, their representatives will take the time to understand your specific needs and explain what options work best for you. Worry less and feel more confident knowing you're covered. Visit countryfinancial.com to get started today. Experience more with Country Financial. Auto and home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Preferred Insurance Company, and Country Casualty Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois.
Duck Insider continues after this timeout on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Let's take a moment to breathe. Deep inhale. Extend your spine. Remain focused on what you're doing. If safe to do so, exhale slowly, leaning to one side. Inhale back to center. If safe to do so, exhale slowly to the opposite side. Find mental health resources at loveyourmindtoday.org. This message is brought to you by the Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ed Council.
Put your phone on D&D. That means that do not disturb when you're driving. And when you're going from point A to B, I need you to stay safe, please, so always sing with me. So put your phone on D&D. That means that do not disturb when you're driving. And when you're going from point A to B, I need you to stay safe, please, so always remember this beat.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Back on Duck Insider, presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. Joey Mack here as the Duck softball team gets ready for a matchup with Auburn at 10 a.m. on Thursday. This tournament is televised on Flow College. KWVA's, though, down there, and they've got the hometown broadcast for you coming. A couple of SEC opponents in Auburn and Texas A&M tomorrow for Oregon softball. Missy Lombardi was here in the studio yesterday, and she also met with the media getting ready for the trip to the Mary Nutter Collegiate Classic. Ducks are traveling today, getting ready for some matchups tomorrow. Missy Lombardi gives us a preview for Duck softball.
You talked about last week, that wasn't the expectation on opening weekend. This weekend kind of feel more about what you guys were expecting heading into the season. You guys come out with 3 wins, 3 really good quality wins. Kind of let one slip at the end, but did this feel more like what you were wanting to see out of the team?
Yes, definitely. I think you got to see all 3 cylinders firing. You got to see I think when we're at our very best, you see our offense and defense kind of just pass back and forth from each other. And so you could see that. I thought our pitching staff did great. I was really impressed with Taylor and the performance that she had against Kentucky. Watching Ayanna, she's been one just trying to get healthy the past couple years, and now to see her have a full bill of health and then get to see what she's capable of. It's pretty exciting.
For you, just obviously this team, it feels like after this weekend, you guys are again just like one step away from going to perfect 4-0 in the weekend, and it felt that way at moments in week 1 too. Do you feel like this team is getting close to just figuring it all out on the field? I know there's a lot of season left, there's a lot of time for them to find their stride, but do you feel like they're one step closer to reaching that goal?
I do. I think just the more they continue to play with each other, I thought our offense really flowed. We had a really good flow from top to bottom all weekend long. You could see them just, I don't know, maybe we were a little tight the first weekend. I felt them a lot looser and enjoying what they were doing this weekend. So I think it's just continuing to stay clean in what we do.
How did you see that? Was it in the dugout? Was it in the hotel room? How did you see them maybe relaxing more? And again, as you said last week, wanting to see them be more themselves in these games?
I think both. Just being around them, this group likes to laugh. They get along really well together. And then just hearing their conversations in the dugout. And, I think the biggest thing for them is just to be free with what they do, be loose, see the ball, hit the ball. Don't make it harder than what it already is. So.
You knew this tough schedule would be a learning opportunity preseason. How has it felt kind of taking takeaways from all of these tough opponents?
Definitely that. Like I knew the schedule that we wanted to have this year, and this is exactly it. And I just think of the growth that we've had from the first weekend to the second weekend. I mean, just in the 9 games, the competition that we've already played, going to Palm Springs, we've seen it. We've seen the competition. So they're a team right now that has, just with the competition that they played in the 2 weekends, what it has already done for them, and it's just so early, so incredibly early still, but just I've already seen the change in them just in 2 weekends. So to see that now, like, what did they look like? We're right in the middle of the big, and we're in postseason, so that's exciting to me.
So what do you feel like a weekend like this weekend could do for the team, considering you've got 3 ranked opponents, one of them being at Texas A&M, nearly top 10 in the country? What can a weekend like this do for this program moving forward?
I think for them just to really get to see what they look like when all cylinders are all moving together, that they can be a really difficult team to have to play. I think our pitching is really deep and really good. I love our defense and I love our offense. So we've had some games where our offense and offense and pitching is flowing, or we've had 1 of the 3 or 2 of the 3, and to get to see what 3 of the 3 looks like, that's when I think people are going to go, wow, this is a team right here.
When the results haven't been there against the ranked opponents so far, do you feel like that puts any extra pressure on a weekend like this, where you have a couple more ranked opponents as the non-conference schedule kind of winds down towards the start of Big Ten play?
To me, for us and how we go about things, if we get out of our process and what we're doing, then yeah, I do think it adds pressure, because you start getting result, oriented. This group, as long as they stay in their process, they stay loose, and it doesn't matter who we play.
How does that help you, and as a coach and as these players, considering, like you said, there's been games you guys have been close. You've been one swing, one pitch away from coming away with a win. How does that help this team just in a mental mindset, knowing that we may didn't come away with the win, but we know if we get the chance to face them again, an opponent like that, we have a chance to be able to win these games?
100%. And I think with that is that you fall a little short, and it gives you urgency. And you see where you fell short, and what did we do well, what did we not do well, and where do we need to improve. And you get to see quickly where you need to improve. And so we come home, we train, we practice, and then we go right back at it. So I just think these little things that we're getting right now is just great opportunities for us to really understand where we need urgency and what it's going to do for us as a team.
Oregon has obviously competed in the Marinetta Classic for years. I'm just wondering, what makes this specific one always special to you?
I love Palm Springs. I think it's just such a beautiful place. The venue, it's just a big, grand venue with all the teams that are there. Every game is a top matchup. All of our athletes, they all have friends on the other teams, that they grew up with. And so there's a lot of family and friends. There's just really good energy at this tournament. There's big upsets. There's just, I don't know, you get to see it all. You just get to see it all. So I think it's a great tournament.
Just wondering what you've been able to make at the start of the season for Riley, and why she wasn't in the starting lineup on the last game against Stanford.
Yeah, no, she's working on a couple things. Sometimes you get off to a little bit of a rough start, but that rough start doesn't stay forever. So She will get to where she needs to go. She's hit some balls right at people that haven't gone her way, and I just think she just needs to continue to grind at the plate. I think she's a tremendous hitter, and we have so many games left to play.
5 walks for her is second only behind Elon. Like, how do you how do you see her trying to like make an impact even when the results aren't there with the back to ball stuff, being able to take pitches and work at bats and work these pitchers?
Yeah. I think it tells you what the opponent thinks of Riley. They could look at her average right now and see she's not exactly getting what she wants, but they're still pitching around her because they know of what she's capable of. So,
do you feel like she's just one game away from things clicking at this point, and how important do you feel like that is for her to maybe just wait, just be patient, and it's going to come?
Yeah, wait, be patient. Sometimes when things happen, or we have adverse moments, you want to have it and get rid of it and make everything great. And sometimes you just have to work through some things. But what it does for you in the end is what's the most important thing. So what we're building right now and how we are going about things in the games that we're playing, we're building. And what it's going to do for us for this weekend and the rest of the season is exactly why we decided the schedule in the first place. So I love this group. I think this group is a great group, and we're right there. We are right there. I'm really excited to watch us compete this weekend.
How impressed have you been with the way the transfers, Elon, Addie, and RH, have been able to just kind of seamlessly fit right into the lineup and integrate with everybody within the team?
I think it's great. I really, just like not even talking about them as athletes, just as people, they just fit. They fit us. They're just great people. They are very caring. They want the best for their teammates. You'd think that, well, I wasn't here, so I can't lead. That's not the case. They come in and they advise and they lead, and they just have a good sense of how they go about things. They're very competitive, very calculated. I love how they play.
Maddie Milhorn made a couple of scoreless appearances over the weekend. What have you seen from her so far?
Loved what she did. Our team loves playing behind her. It's just unreal to see how hard she throws the ball. I think she's getting a lot of swing and misses. Love the strikeouts that she's getting, and I think just throwing into her into the fire, it allows her to adjust quickly too and see, what are things she can get away with at this level, what are things that she might need to tighten up a little bit. But I've been very impressed with her.
Oregon softball on the road, a couple SEC opponents. It all begins tomorrow at 10 o'clock. KWVA is on the road. You can find the hometown broadcast with the student radio station. Saul Galvan's down there. And also on Flow College for the broadcasts on the TV side, the streams here this weekend for Oregon softball. Timeout when we come back. A look around Oregon athletics as we get ready for the weekend that begins on Thursday, because there's tons of Oregon athletic events on Thursday, and that means no show for us. Weird. Keep it here on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
As a local community credit union founded by teachers, OnPoint is committed to supporting the students and faculty at the University of Oregon. And on game day, we're right there with you, on the field, in the bleachers, and in the classrooms. Drop by one of your local branches today and discover the many ways OnPoint can help support your financial well-being. OnPoint Community Credit Union. People are the point. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
We know you turn to the Duck Store for all your game day needs. And for students at the University of Oregon, it's even more. Class supplies, jobs, a seat on our board, a place to take a quick coffee break. Because we're your student-first, non-profit college store, every purchase you make directly supports the very community we serve. From working at our counters to studying in the classroom, from directing our stores to cheering in the stands, the people we serve, the students, are the very people who are the Duck Store.
Duck Insider, your home for the latest news on Oregon athletics on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
We asked parents who adopted teens to share their journey.
When I met both of them, it was like my missing pieces were found. Like it was just like an instant, these are my kids. If you're considering adopting a teen, just do it. Kids need families. I don't care the age, everybody deserves a family.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. Visit adoptuskids.org to learn more. A message brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
My name is Teresa Barber. I was in the United States Navy, and I served overseas in the Middle East and Africa. Early on in my career, I had a commander that taught our suicide prevention training, and the very next day, he took his own life. 90% of suicide attempts involving a gun are fatal. My way of continuing my service is to help protect my community by being a responsible gun owner and by storing firearms safely. Store all your guns securely. Help stop suicide.
Brought to you by End Family Fire and the Ad Council.
Duck Insider, final segment presented by OnPoint Community Credit Union. I'm Joey Mack in the Country Financial Studio. Final segment because Oregon baseball has moved things up. A 2 o'clock start tomorrow, 1:45 pregame show on Thursday, Friday, and then an 11:45 pregame show on Saturday and Sunday for a 4-game stretch. Oregon baseball taking on Youngstown State. Track and field, Kobe Lawrence, the redshirt sophomore from throws. Track and field athlete of the week, according to the Big Ten Conference. One of the best marks that Oregon has ever seen in the shot put. He also becomes the third collegian to go beyond 20 meters this season, setting himself up well for the indoor title. Elsewhere on the women's side, Wilma Nielsen, a graduate distance runner, also a Big Ten Conference athlete of the week, broke the Oregon school record in the indoor mile, a time of 4:21:04. Her time doubles as the Big Ten leader. It's the number 2 collegiate time this season. And finally, Deanna Tirotich, the freshman, has continued to be outstanding for the Ducks. Another freshman of the week honor. At this point, just give her freshman of the year. She's won almost every weekly honor since she has competed. Every week that she's competed, she's won that freshman honor. Congratulations to those three. Men's golf, Aiden Kraft carded a 3 under 68 in the second round of the Prestige, one of the better, if I dare say, most prestigious golf tournaments of the season. And Oregon men's golf was feeling pretty good. They were in 4th heading into the leaderboard today. Didn't go as well for everybody that was not named Aiden Kraft today. However, Aiden Kraft has been excellent in this tournament, though I can tell you, if you're live with us in the 1 o'clock hour, high winds, it looks like, are canceling the rest of the Prestige tournament. Full details will be on GoDucks.com as they sort through what they're doing with the high wind cancellation for Oregon men's golf. I mentioned that this is our last show for the week because of Oregon baseball schedule shift. Well, that also means that Oregon lacrosse, you can head to Pape Field at noon tomorrow. Jess Drummond's team taking on Cal in a renew of the old Pac-12 rivalry. Oregon women's basketball, 6 o'clock. It's be Oregon night tomorrow night at Matthew Knight Arena. Chris Clayton has a 5:30 pregame show along with, wait, is Bev there? Bev will not be there. That means Chris has to be his own analyst. No pressure, Chris Clayton. No pressure. No Hall of Famer on the broadcast. Not yet. Not yet. No Hall of Famer on the broadcast. 6 o'clock tomorrow for Oregon women's basketball. A slew of Oregon athletic events here during crossover season. GoDucks.com has the full schedule. All right, well, I'll talk to you at 1:45 tomorrow from PK Park. Chris Clayton has you at 5:30 tomorrow from Matthew Knight Arena. See ya.
This message is for Shauna, my mom, who just got it. High school diploma. I wanted to say I'm so proud of you for finishing school. You told me it's never too late to achieve your dreams. I hope to make you as proud as you have made me.
When you graduate